All right, folks, let's talk about why this dirt bike is possibly the best dirt bike ever made. So first off, what is it? This is a KTM 200SX. And if you do not know what that is, well, you're gonna learn here in about just a couple minutes. So the KTM 200SX was originally made for Brock Sellards to race 250 Supercross on. So the 200SX is based on the 125SX. So if we go down here to the engine and we look, that looks just like a 125 engine of the era. So there's a couple of big differences. This jug, that jug, and if actually look at the exhaust system. I'm gonna get into that a little bit. I believe it's bored and stroked, but I could be wrong on that. I didn't prepare enough for this video. If you look at the exhaust on this particular one, it looks like a 250's exhaust. All right, so when Brock Sellards raced his in Supercross, that's the style pipe that he had on it. So when these things came out production, they did not come with that pipe. This is actually a 200 EXE pipe. This is the enduro pipe, and so you've got that more kind of low end grunt, but you lose the top end rev with it. But what's cool is you can interchange the pipes on these bikes. And why that's cool is because you can change the power character pretty easily for what you want to do. So obviously if you're in the woods, you want a little bit more bottom end, and if you want some top end, the other pipe is a very, very big expansion chamber. It actually does not look like the 125 pipe because it's so fat in the middle right there. What makes these wicked awesome is you're basically getting the 125 chassis and 250 like power. So this is definitely not as fast as the 250, although I would argue that it probably feels as fast as a Japanese 250 of the era. They're really light because they're the 125 chassis, so you're taking 10, 15 pounds or something off the chassis probably. And they actually do come with different gearing and stuff than the 125. They come with a 1445 instead of like a 1351. This is like the ultimate vet machine, which is why I own it, because I'm old now. And what it offers is it offers that kind of cool like 125 like feeling and that reviness and all that, but you can roll it through corners without just banging on the clutch all the time. So you have that 250 like power, but that 125 chassis, and so it just doesn't get away from you the same as like a 250 does. It's not too much bike to handle, and then it feels real light and flickable, like you're some kind of hero on it. These things are still wicked fast. Don't get me wrong. It does not feel like a 125, but it doesn't quite feel like a 250 either. It doesn't maybe pull quite as hard as a 250 off the bottom and in the middle, but if you have the other pipe on it, it will definitely rip on the top, super rip on the top. So along with all that, you also don't really get the 125 maintenance, so you don't have to do the top end changes as often. You're not beating the crap out of the bike as much. And the other really cool thing about these things is that they have PDS in them. And I know this is highly controversial, but it does work, and it works in a lot of situations. And the reason I say that is because the KTM off-road team still uses it. And I've actually watched videos where pros tested it back to back with the linkage system and were faster on PDS systems. So it does work. It won a lot of championships. So is the PDS system unique? Yes, it is. Everything has its pros and cons. One of the super huge pros to me from this system is the low maintenance of it. The biggest thing that happens in these is the top heim joint, it's called, goes bad. It's not expensive. PivotWorks makes kits for it, and it's super easy to replace. I believe it's just a little snap ring. I haven't done it in this particular bike, but I've done it in other ones. It's not a big deal. Also, you know, typical to KTM, you have the airbox cover that just pops off with the air filter underneath of it. And everything on these bikes is pretty simple. You still got the hydraulic clutch. I believe this is a bigger carburetor. I think that the 200 also uses the 38 key in PWK. Comes with V-force reeds, you know, stock, all the typical KTM stuff. But yeah, these things are wicked cool. If you guys want to know more about this motorcycle, watch the videos here. On the whole, these things are super reliable, wicked fun to ride. The ultimate vet machine. If you can find one of these things, they're worth the money. I'm very stoked to own this motorcycle. I really, truly do love this thing. Look at that. They were so cool. So check out these other videos right here to watch this bike in action, and take care.